Hello.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Week 5 rankings. Um, I have personally calmed down from the emotional low of losing Hell Legend. Um, and I and I've now reassessed now that something has gone my way this week. And when I say my way, I mean not the way of not the house chat. I really needed them to lose something, anything.
Not the way of Team Squad
Um,
either.
yeah, Kellen. Sad day for the Kellen stands. I wish I could say I stayed a Kellen stand through and through. So sad day for the Kellen stands. Alas, I was no longer a Kellen stand, so it was kind of a fine day for me. Um, and I will own that. Kellen will forever be an icon. However, what I've come to realize is flop friends of Sean Bierman are meant to be uh third boots. That's what happens to flop friends. Menendez mates are meant to get 12th place. Um, so we'll see. We'll see what the world has in store for the future Menendez mates. I hope we sort of whole lineage of people. Um, and we'll see. But yes, Kellen is out of the game. With peace and love to Kellen. Thank God. Because and that's not shade to Kellen, but that is shade to that alliance of like something needed to happen for them to not get their way. And now here's the thing. Now I'm interested in all their games again. Now I'm interested to see what they do. And I'm interested to see all these players and how they react. Because this week definitely exposed a lot of things for Steven. I don't know if you've pre-locked in any scores. I have, and they are
No.
all over the fucking place compared to where things were before. So like on the whole, this is like a re-leveling out of scores for me. Um, and I am judging, honestly, for me this week more harshly on gameplay than I am on social standing because I feel like everyone's social standing, honestly, is really equal right now. Everybody is aligned really closely with a good amount of people. Everyone has a few wild cards where they have no one. So I'm really going on how you played this week and whose name is immediately coming up as the issues, and going from there. So we'll see where people's scores fall, but I think this graph, there's always that moment in the season where it's like the lines are going like, whoa, and then all of a sudden they go boom. And I think that's going to be this for me.
Cool.
Cool, let's just dive in then.
Let's just dive in. Adrian.
Alrighty. I did just preface that scores are going to be all over the place. I'm going to stay at my three for Adrian. And it's a couple of things. Um, I think that Adrian is probably in the worst position in the game right now, and I think that he actively played this week the worst. Um, Nothing really was great about Adrian's game this week. Um, the reasons why I'm still at three is one, he went up on the block. That's not a good thing. Um, Two, when he did go up on the block, he just kind of like Kayla told him, and he was like, "Oh, okay." And I'm like, Adrian, in your mind, is your closest alliance not with Kayla? That not true. I thought you evicted Vince, your seventh closest ally, because Kayla was in the group above that, and she just told you that you're being put up, and your reaction was, "Oh, okay, sure." Two, then he was talking about the vote because he was coming off of the block. And once again, that's why I called him a cucumber last week, Adrian. I'm just like, there's literally no opinions being had or shared. It's like you ask Adrian, like, who are you going to vote out? And Adrian's answer, like, it's literally, Adrian, are you thinking of voting out Trista or Kellen? Well, Kellen and Trista are on the block, and it'll be one of them that gets voted. Like, say anything. Say anything. He just agrees with what people tell him. Like Bryce went to him and was like, "Yeah, I think I'm going to evict Trista this week." And Adrian was like, "Yeah, like I could evict Trista too." And then Rachel will go to him and be like, "I'm going to evict Kellen this week." And Adrian is like, "Yeah, I think that Kellen has campaigned less to me." And he just doesn't actually say anything because I think he's so scared in his mind to have an opinion. Like having an opinion means that you're gonna be targeted. And newsflash, that is not how Big Brother works. And now, because he was so wishy-washy with his vote, everybody is mad at him. The whole not the house chat side doesn't trust him because he was the only one to like lie about his vote. They're mad at everyone for not doing what they wanted, but everyone else said what they were going to do. Adrian was really the one that screwed them in their opinion. And then two, this other side is annoyed that like they had to fight to get Adrian on their side. His own alliance of Kayla and Jen don't want to work with him. They just put him up on the block. Um, like really the only thing that Adrian has going for him is Rachel and Ryan. Those are the only things. So for all of that, just three. Like I honestly, I can see a path forward and like a way to win, honestly, for everyone else in the game. Even Trista. I can't see it for Adrian. I just don't see it.
I won't go as far to say that
Trista,
you're
at least, I don't. Based off of track record of what you're doing and the story that you've had so far, I don't see it. It's not happening.
are you finished?
Yeah,
Sorry, I didn't wait for you to confirm that you were done. I don't
that's my score.
I won't necessarily say that yet. And I wasn't super paying attention to what you were saying before, but I will also tack on if you didn't. He was really bad at that competition. I don't know if you touched on this,
Oh my God,
which makes
no.
which
It's
makes me really
pain.
worried for him competing in anything in the future. Um,
He was bad at both. He was horrible at the veto. He was guessing random shit, just changing things willy-nilly. And he got to guess 16. He's like, I just, and I'm like, well, Adrian, you need to have a strategy. Um, and then two, and yeah, in the fucking trivia comp, he literally like the first thing, this is like a guess who styled trivia comp. There are 24 characters, and you need to figure out the character that the other person picked. They're all holding items. They're all holding items. Adrian's first question was, "Is the character holding something?" I was like, Jesus Christ, we're gonna be here all night. And then he asked, like, "Are they holding two things?" And I said, "Yes." But then I guess he didn't use his eyes to see that like the shield counted as a thing. So then like we got to the end and he was like, "Is it the blonde guy? LOL." And I was like, "No." And he was like, "What? That was the last one I had." And I was like, "We're gonna this." The competition took 45 minutes. I was literally going to auto disc. I was going to say, "Sorry, Adrian, you're doing so badly that I'm actually ruling that you lost." I actually texted Steven that. I actually texted Steven and said, "I don't know if I can do this. I think I'm going to make him lose."
for a competition that he was being thrown.
Thrown. Kayla literally like was answering bullshit bad questions. Like I asked, in what she here's the thing, the whole time, and we'll get to Kayla, the whole time she could have just told Adrian, like, this is my thing. But instead, we really sat there and Kayla, mind you, Kayla never told Adrian that she was throwing it. Kayla's been on, we'll talk to Kayla, but she was on her high horse of like, I shouldn't have to spell it out to anyone. And I'm like, Kayla, but you can spell it out to them. So this whole time, Kayla hasn't said anything. So Adrian is like, I need to win. And then meanwhile, the questions that are happening in this competition are what country hosted the summer 2012 Olympics? Long time, no answer from Adrian because he's probably looking it up. Kayla answers Antarctica. And then like and I'm just like, what is happening? Anyway, yeah, Adrian has not been good, is
Okay,
the point
so
of this story.
so competition ability is worrying me. A lot of people are very mad at him. I can say from talking. Kellen is very mad at him. Not that it matters anymore, but Kellen is not a fan of Adrian right now.
Question for Kellen though. Kellen, what did you do to get Adrian's vote? We'll circle back there.
I'll ask her tomorrow when I see her. Okay, I'm gonna give him a three as well because I think, to be fair, like I think the right decision was made. I think he could have gotten to it better. Um, and I think he could have solidified some more trust with people that he was voting with. So he kind of lied to both sides despite voting with one of them. He was like wishy-washy. So I don't know if that's what you already said, but
Yeah, essentially.
I was
But we're
keeping
on the
up
same page.
with the new twist.
Yes, which we can get to. We can talk a little bit about what's to come, but not yet.
Sorry.
Well, let's look at the graph.
Right. Oh, Adrian was so high with a five.
So high with a five. Okay.
Andrew.
Andrew, king of consistency, 5555. But guess what, Andrew? I'm gonna switch things up this week. I am. I'm gonna switch things up for Andrew.
You're not.
And it is no, I am. I'm not
Oh,
giving Andrew a five. Um, and it is because of the following reasons. The game finally shook up this week, and there are a few people that I think nearly everybody needs in the game. And Andrew is one of them. I look at the board. Jen and Kayla really like him. Bryce really likes him. Um, Adrian has a good relationship with him. Trista and Rachel have great relationships with him. Isaiah has a good relationship with him. Zoe, honestly, his biggest Andrew's biggest ops right now are Zoe, Justin, and Ryan. Um, which certainly is not zero ops, and those are all powerful players. So I'm not saying he's in a like phenomenal spot, but I do think that he's now that not the house chat, which that alliance name, if we could just get that out there. I don't think we've ever said that. Um, but now that that group um is finally weakened, like he becomes much more necessary for them. And Bryce has already put in the good word of like Andrew is someone that I'm close with. I think we can work with him and use him. So I'm feeling good about Andrew's stock. I think he played this week well. He voiced his opinion that he would like to see Kellen go home over Trista, which for him, incredible news, because he had no relationship with Kellen and he has a good, amazing working relationship with Trista.
this is
So,
the
like,
bar. This is
yes,
the bar we're at here.
the bar is literally expressing your opinion for a good move to be made for your game. Like literally, the bar is in fucking hell. So if the wrong person wins HOH, he could be in some trouble. Honestly, we could be on that track record. But for good gameplay and for I think being in a solid position, I will be raising my score and giving Andrew a six, which honestly is going to be probably my highest scores of the week.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going to be at a six as well. I think he's doing a great job staying connected, um, while not breaking any relationships by getting caught in anything, which I think is great. I think him keeping Trista was great. Trista seems to really trust him. Trista trust him. Um, so I'm gonna be at a six for this week. And I think if he can continue to kind of be like, I don't want to be like under the radar because he's not, but he found three battle passes, and I feel like that would have. I'm surprised that has not caused more of a target, to be honest, back, especially going into a twist where finding things is like very, very important. Um, but no, so six for me.
Alrighty.
Bryce.
Moving on to Bryce. Oh boy, oh boy. When I was talking about scores shifting, this is one of our main topics. Um, all in all, my score will certainly be lowering in general because of the following facts. One, Bryce lost Kellen, which was a huge number for him and the power structure that he had created. Two, everyone is talking about Bryce's red level. Um, Everyone kind of sees the way he's been playing now, knows he's a snake. And the reason why Kellen ultimately ended up leaving was because people were able to specifically clock that Bryce was trying to make her stay without making it seem like it. He wasn't being honest about it. Um, and he got caught there. The thing is, people are still under the notion that people aren't all talking about that with each other. They're talking about it in very small pockets. So I would be surprised if he went up on the block in this upcoming week with pretty much no matter who won HOH. I don't see anyone putting up Bryce in this upcoming week, which means that for his position, I'd probably only be inclined to lower his score to a 5 because I think his sway over the house has certainly gone out the window. I think no one will just like do what he says at all anymore. But I think people do still give him a little bit of leeway in the sense of like they view him as someone that they need to take care of later, that they can't do it now, all the thing. And sure that could change, but that is the current state of the game. So for those reasons, I would go down to a 5. With that being said, I said I had to like dock for gameplay. And I've done it for other people when I've given them twos or I've given people a little extra boost because of how well they played. I think Bryce is a way better player than the shit that he tried to pull last week. I think that he got way overconfident, that these people are stupid, and that he can just say that, you know, he thinks actually maybe Trista should go and no one's gonna notice that he is pushing hard for these votes. He messed with the wrong people, that being someone that I'm very excited to talk about that we'll get to down the line. Um, and it spread like wildfire that he was really trying to not only flip the vote to save Kellen, but he was doing it alongside Zoe and that Ryan is probably and like his whole group got clocked and the whole shit got rocked and kind of done. For that reason, I will be deducting further for this week and then seeing where we go. And I will be giving Bryce a 4 because the gameplay this week just does not deserve a green score, does not deserve a yellow score. I think his positioning is a 5 still and definitely recoverable, but it is a 4 from me due to the atrocity that was what he tried to pull.
Yeah, I do think he got a little sloppy. I think with the Vince vote, with I mean, dare I say like how easy he and Zoe were able to kind of have a successful vote. Um, I think and rightfully so, I think he got a little confident and I think it kind of turned a little sloppy. Um, and I've been saying this since the start. I think people have their concerns about Bryce, whether they're expressing them or not. I think in the back of their mind, people are talking about it or what they're thinking about it. I know that like many of his allies are even like, I know he's tricky and I have to watch out for him. Um, I'm trying to decide between a 4 and a 5. Because while he made a poor play this week and losing Kellen was really bad for him, I don't see like him going up and going home like immediately, which could be a take, but I think I'm
No,
gonna I think I'm
I
gonna
fully agree with that take.
yeah, I think I'm gonna be at a 5 for this week. Especially I feel like I tend to like if someone is pretty high, I tend to not go. There's like a buffer. Like you don't lose as I don't know. That's just my like ranking style. So and you know what we
Um,
say, this is my show. So
yes. I don't know if you were listening when I was speaking, but
I
I literally
was. You
said the
said
same
you
thing.
deducted extra for gameplay. I was listening,
Yeah.
and his position was fine. I don't want
So
to do
yeah, I agree. I fully agree with your 5 here.
that. Isaiah.
Isaiah is such a tricky one for me to rank
Mm,
because just as I feel like if I deducted for Bryce, I feel like I have to reward good gameplay. But actually, come to think of it, I don't think Isaiah gave really good gameplay this week. Um, just I was saying that I feel like we have to if I'm penalizing bad gameplay, I have to reward good gameplay. But then I was like, actually, I don't think Isaiah actually gave good gameplay this week. I think he made the right move, in terms of like being steadfast in Kellen going home. However, he was literally with no tact, just like going into chat and being like, Kellen is going home. Um, like that's literally what he was doing. And it worked, but I don't think it gained him any favor. And if anything, I think the spotlight on him is now larger. And I'm not super thrilled for his chances. I look at the board of players and I think that, well, Isaiah did try and make good moves in terms of like he saw where the power lied with Bryce and Justin, and he did try to get in good with them, which he kind of did, except for the fact that Bryce and Justin are both talking about like, maybe this is not a real alliance. He clearly just saw that we were in power and tried to get in good with us. Like they saw exactly what he did. I am going to raise his score only to a 4 because ultimately Kellen going home was good with him. Good for him. I think he has probably bought himself maybe a little bit of time with people like Bryce and Justin. And he did stay true, stick to his guns and push hard, which honestly, I've been saying all season. Like, I would rather people do what Isaiah did than do what Adrian does. So I will reward him and not give him the same score as Adrian. And I'll be giving Isaiah a 4, although I know this isn't how numbers work, but I'm letting you know that this 4 is lower than the 4 that I gave Bryce.
Yeah, I'm gonna be at a 4 as well. I'm going up because things went his way this week, and also he's entertaining me. And as the king of one of the kings of the BB castle, when the jester entertains, I reward. So he's entertaining in his diary room. I'm liking it. And he's playing. And I enjoy watching him play and trying. And a vote really went his way this week. He was on the right side of shifting a huge power structure in the house. So I kind of reward that a little bit. I'm enjoying the memes and the texts sent to the diary room. So 4 for me. Man, where's the refresh button? Why is this not refreshing? Oh, it is refreshed, actually. I don't know what I'm doing. Right? No, it's not.
Um, Sorry, I zoned out as I'm watching Kayla and Jen run like chickens with their heads cut off. Um, but all to say, is it updating and moving on? I still only see the graph.
No, I don't know why it's not. The graph isn't refreshing.
Can we focus on making that happen?
I don't know what to do. So let's just move.
Um, or can we just move on?
Yeah, let's just move on.
Alrighty. Moving on to Jen. Um, Jen this week, or Jen last week had a 5. Um, and I certainly see no reason to lower my score on Jen. Um, but I'm kind of at between a rock and a hard place between do I stay at the 5 for Jen or do I raise my score? Ultimately, Kellen went home and Jen was a large part in the fact of just like, no, this time we just have to see it through. I'm evicting Kellen. We're saying that we're doing that. And for that, I'm very proud of her. That's big steps. She also majorly was one of the people to really clock like Kayla. Bryce is starting to, like, in the final moments, be like, oh, what if I didn't do what you wanted? He's playing you, he's playing us, he's not to be trusted. And like those reads are actually quite good. Um, and I think that she is well liked in the house. And she was honest about her vote all week, and no one is mad at her. I don't know why I get the gut feeling that should I forget that there's also only two noms moving forward. I feel like Jen is in significantly more danger than Kayla is what I'll say there. And that's where I'm like, do I raise my score to a six or do I stay at the five? And that's where it's kind of tough for me. Ultimately,
I will say, I think I'm going to go up to a six.
I think I'm going to as well.
I think I think she deserves to be rewarded for the social game that she's playing. And if something in the future looks awry for her, I will go down. But as of right now, she's got the most solid alliance in the house right now with Kayla. And I think she's staying in people's good graces and was on the right side of it. So that's enough for me. And you continue talking about her. Like,
No, I agree with that. I think you're right that like should reward her for the social game. Also, like should reward her for like the good move and game and reads that she had this week.
mm,
Um, and moving forward with only two noms, I think Kellen going home this week and the fact that she clocked what Bryce and Zoe were doing really opened up the worlds for like what the future of her game holds. So it does feel wrong to stay at a five. So I'll be going out to a six.
I already showed the graph. Justin,
Justin. Um, hold on. Can I retcon?
what does that mean?
Can I go back and change one of my scores?
Yeah.
I do think upon looking where the rest of my scores are going and where I know I'm going to have other people land, I do think I want to move Bryce up to a five. Nope, never mind. I said what I said, and we're going to stick with it. Bryce played poorly, and now he has to sit with the 4.5. Moving
Okay.
on to Justin.
Justin.
Um, Justin, I am going with the score that I wrote down, which is what happened immediately following the vote. Um, and for me, that is a seven. I will be raising my score on Justin, and it's for the following reasons. He Justin was one of the only people, in my opinion, to see the light that like y'all oh my God. See the light that y'all Kellen's going. And there's nothing that we can really do to change that. And I'm all for, voting for strong and hoping that someone flips. But the thing is, if we do that and then she goes home, we're all fucked and screwed and exposed. For one, lying about our votes. Two, that we're all aligned. And three, like what are we gonna do? Say like, oops, I actually just evicted Trista. It didn't work. My bad. Um, so yeah, he was the only one to see that. He's put in major work for like Isaiah and Rachel to have like no idea that he is playing the middle so hard. He's also been transparent enough with people like Bryce and Zoe and Ryan, in my opinion, to make them think that like he's not playing it as hard as he actually is. Um, the biggest weakness right now is the fact that I think that people like Jen, Kayla, Andrew, Adrian really don't trust him. And that could spell danger, but he's proven this week. I mean, Kayla was in power this week. and she didn't touch him, despite Kayla not trusting Justin at all. So I think that like the wiggle room is enough there. And he played this week pretty well, but I'm going to raise my score. The biggest mistake that he made was right before the vote, telling Ryan point blank that so we just vote for strong and just say oops afterwards. And then he didn't do that. There was no reason. And I think that he should have been like, I think this isn't going to go. And I think we should flip and say, sorry, Bryce and Zoe after. I think that would have saved his relationship with Ryan. And I think the relationship with Bryce would have been fine. And then you only piss off Zoe. And now you've kind of pissed off your whole group. And I do think he's able to work it back, but that definitely wasn't great. Not enough to fully deduct stuff from me, but definitely flagging that for the future.
I'm trying to decide because I don't know if him flipping his vote in the moment, I wasn't sure if that was the right move for him or not. Because yes, he would have been on the wrong side of the vote, but he would have been on the wrong side of the vote with the people that he was loyal to.
The only reason why I say it is right is because the biggest thing that that group of four still has going for them is the fact that people have not clocked them as a full group of four. People have clocked Bryce and Zoe together for sure, but they think it's a trio between Bryce, Zoe, and Kellen. Some people, like Rachel and Isaiah, are like, I think Ryan is looped in there. Some people, like Jen and Kayla, are like, I think Justin is looped in there. But if
Mhm.
they voted for strong and then all said, oops, it was us, I think it would have been over. And right now it's not over for them. And it is because of Justin being able to do something like this.
Okay, I'm convinced. I'll move up to a 7 as well. Um, if for anything, he clearly showed that he was aware of what was going on in the house this week and he made a decision to better himself. So up to a 7 as well for Justin. Oh my gosh, my computer is like 800 degrees right now. 7, a new 7 holder. Kayla.
Kayla. There are so many reasons why I would love to improve my score to a 7 for Kayla this week because, she did really get in good with Bryce and Justin, I think, this week. She improved relationships on her side of the house. She got her target out. All of those things were great. Ultimately, I cannot justify it. And I love Kayla dearly. And this is definitely coming slightly with inexperience, I think. But there are certain things that you shouldn't do or that you can do that I think Kayla's just like not doing. Number one, there should have been no reason that Trista was up on the block this week. Absolute zero reason that Trista, someone that's on your side that you've established trust with, is up on the block. Sure, it's easy, but like Trista was not coming for you. Realistically, the vote easily could have flipped to send Trista home instead of Kellen, and then you would have been fucked. Um, and it really, there was, I mean, Bryce literally made the alliance with Kayla and Justin to save Justin. Because he knew that Justin was going to be in trouble. Um, it should have been some combo of Justin up, Zoe up, and Kellen up. Like that really should have been what was going on. Um, we put up Rachel, which I really think was not a fantastic move. Do I think Rachel deserved to go up? Absolutely. After the poop with flies situation that she had, yeah, you deserve that. But I don't think it was a great move for Kayla per se. Um, then Rachel won the veto, and Kayla put up Adrian with the idea that she was going to throw the boss battle to him. But I don't know if she thinks it's like against the rules. She very well might. But she's literally like been ranting to Jen of like, oh my God, I put up Adrian, who I'm in an alliance with. I'm not gonna spell it out for him that like I'm gonna throw the boss battle. Like you should just know. And I'm like, Caleb, but why would he know? Because you just went to him and said, I'm putting you up. I'm so sorry. And that's all you said. Like, why would he know? And you didn't tell him that you knew where the battle pass was. It wasn't anyone in that alliance. So I'm like, why would he know? I think you do have to spell it out for him, and that's okay. So all these things, like I just think that Kayla is lacking in some of the actual gameplay that I need to see. to really justify moving her up. So I'm just gonna stay at my 6 this week, but it spelled good things for Kayla.
I'll stay at my 6 as well. Yeah, very messy week. What I can say is that Jen and Kayla spent a lot of time thinking about their decisions. And these were the decisions that they came to after a lot of time thinking, which, good for them, is a little concerning. But I'm glad that they were able to screen share the memory while at work and to their large TV and decide on nominations. I thought that was funny to watch. Um, I think I do agree with you that I think Kayla is a little more safe moving forward than Jen. Um, I think a 6 is a good score right now, so I'm going to be at a 6. Ellen,
Kellen, I hate to be the Debbie Downer of the group. I really do. However, Kellen had a very clear route to say this week. All she had to do was put up a campaign, a semblance of a campaign, anything. She had members of the group going to her, being like, text these people. Here are the people that you need to text. And then, like, when Kellen did that, eventually, it was just like, good luck tonight. Like, there was no, these people don't know how to campaign. No one on the season knows how to campaign. It's ridiculous. Um, had she put in minimum effort, I think she stays handily, literally handily, because she's got her alliance pushing for her. Um, she really like just in that the tail end of the second week of the game, heading into week three, just burned out. She disappeared. And I don't think her care went away, but I think it literally was like she's like, I've got my group and I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna vibe. And that ran out. She ran out of rope. That rope only lasted so long. And in my opinion, there was like little to no effort into saying, I have to do it. I hate to say it, but it will be an uno from me. And I have a feeling Stephen won't give her the one, and that's okay.
I think it was her time to go. Moment of silence for a great flop friend and Menendez mate.
I'm Menendez mate. She's the first of her kind.
She's the blueprint. But I would also call Zoe a Menendez mate, but not the TM Menendez mate.
No, no, no. Zoe's TM Menendez mate. Just as Suba is like TM flop friend.
Um, um, I think it was good for her that she was evicted. I think she was not upset. I think I was hoping for her to bounce back a little after she survived the block the first time. I think I knew shortly after that that it wasn't gonna happen again and that it shouldn't happen again. A friend for life. I'm giving her a 2 because she almost did stay. To be fair, so
Yeah, but not because of her.
and you know what? I've given 2s for worse things. So
And that's fair.
the 6.5 to a 1.5 and oof. Okay, Rachel.
Rachel, poop with flies, let go. Unfortunately, Rachel, I hate that I've deemed you this nickname. It is going to stick in the poop with flies. Um, it is going to stick. With that being said, it no longer describes your game. For the last two rankings, I've sat here and I've said no shade. How does Rachel win these games? How does she do it? Because based off of what I've seen, I don't get it. While I will stand on last week's HOH being poop with flies tier, I will take back not understanding how Rachel wins the game. I think Rachel actually is a real contender here. And I think that this moment in the game, getting Kellen out, was one, huge for her, but two, and this is where I was talking about in terms of Isaiah. Isaiah was going into chats being like, "It's Kellen." That shut the wall off. Rachel went into chats, and through the conversations, she was the one to most specifically clock, like, "Oh my God, Bryce is trying to flip this vote. Oh my God," and he just confirmed for me that Zoe's on board. Oh my God, and now Zoe's coming here. And now I'm hearing from Adrian that Bryce is going there and that they're trying to get him because they couldn't get me. Oh my gosh, this is what's happening. Adrian, you cannot flip because here are the reasons. Isaiah, this is what's happening. You can't trust Bryce. I am mad at Kayla, but I am going to have to put that on a hold because this is more important. She, in my opinion, is now the person that all sides need to work with and everyone wants to work with. At least in this last week as well, with honestly the whole duration of the week, she was here and active and playing, and she said it in her DR, and I do think she honestly meant it. Do I think she took it like to an extreme? Yes. But I think she is the kind of player that really does lie low in the pre-jury phase and is here to play. Like she's clearly here to play. She is the reason why this vote did not flip back to Trista leaving. And she's now set up in a trio with Andrew and Trista, set up in a trio with Isaiah and Justin, set up in a trio with Adrian and Ryan, has Bryce and Zoe both independently saying that they need to work with her and that they can get her votes. And that only leaves Jen and Kayla, who like tolerate Rachel. Yes, she just went up, but like they've got bigger fish to fry at this point, and Kayla's outgoing HOH. I said that Rachel was with flies last week. And I'm like, she was at a two. Steven, give your score first, because I'm gonna skyrocket, and I don't know how high, but like I'm wondering, do I get into the green?
Oh, I thought you were debating going higher than that.
No, I don't think I could justify going to. I certainly don't think I could be at a seven yet. I don't think her position quite.
Yeah.
She was on the block this week, and she did have to fight her way off and like get to this spot. But I'm like, I am certainly like at least at a five. And I'm like, am I up to a six after being at a two? I don't know. So talk to me. What do you see from one Rachel poop with flies
I
Lemko?
definitely hear what you're saying. Um, I am also taking into consideration that she was on the block this week and like very well. Was Andrew going to battle pass her?
Yes.
But Kayla wouldn't have thrown it to her.
She.
TBD. It was
It,
it
I
was
I think it would have ended up happening.
don't like that she was on the block. I think my biggest thing with Rachel right now, and the reason that I'm gonna give her a five, was I at the three last week?
Yes.
The reason why I'm only gonna go up to a five is that I think I need to see a little bit more consistency from Rachel. She has these spurs where she's here and she's doing stuff, and then she's not here and is doing terribly. So I feel like I need to see a little bit more than 1 day's worth of consistency from Caleb before, or from Rachel before I go up to a green score. Because I did have her very high in the beginning at a point, I believe. Right? Didn't we have her pretty high? Oh, 4.5.
You had her at fives.
So before I go higher than that, I need to see a little bit more effort from Miss with flies over here.
Um, I think I ultimately am only going to go to a five for the same, for kind of the same reason. I do think the consistency through this week, like for me, honestly, it was the fact that she got told she's going up on the block. From the moment that she got told she's going up on the block, her game has skyrocketed actually in terms of social connections, strategy, good reads, amazing. Um, if I see it continue through for one more week, I will certainly be in the green. But I need to see this momentum keep going. And you're right, the consistency. I don't want to see it die as soon as I feel like she's not in a position where she needs to be doing this.
Mhm.
So, all in all, major improvement. certainly going to be in the upper half of the cast, and she is certainly one that in this moment I'm looking for. I'm looking at as a dark horse of the season right now.
Ryan,
Um, Ryan for me is a pretty straightforward score this week, and it will also be a five. And it is kind of solely because Cameron left, and not all there is to it. His position weakened. However, I don't think his game got worse. I think he stayed consistent with like what he said he would do, and I think that he had the correct gut instinct that like guys, I think the votes aren't there, and all of us voting to keep Kellen is just going to expose us, and kind of like for what, for why. And ultimately he got told that no, we're all going to stay four strong, and he stuck to that, which I think in turn gained him a lot of favor with Bryce, which is huge for him. Um, but for the time being, I'm like, he just lost, in theory, the person that was his number one. Was she doing a lot for him? No. But that is certainly someone that is out of the game now. And I'll be curious to see how he frees up. I still think he's in more than a fine spot. This is a lot of leveling out this week. And a five is certainly not a bad score, but it is going to be a five for me this week.
second. Okay. I think I'm at the same thing. Because Kellen going obviously bad for him. I think he knows he got this week, which is not terrible because then he knows how to bounce back. I think he knows really what happened. I think so. I'm gonna be at a five as well, but I do think that he can bounce back from this, and I think he has a lot of strong competitors on his side. I think so. Five for me, but I honestly expect it to go back up. Okay,
Alrighty. Trista.
Trusta that she'll stay in the house.
Last last week you gave Trista a five. I gave Trista a four. Um, Last week I said that like Trista had production favorite on lock. I think I was a little high when I said that and on drugs. I still adore Trista. Um, but this week I really sat back into the reality of like Trista, what are you doing in the game? Um, she like was on the block. She clearly wants to be here, cares about the game, has targets set, has allies. But then like there will be moments where like Isaiah goes to her and Isaiah is like, Trista, have you campaigned to everyone? And Trista's like, no, I haven't yet. And I see that I'm running out of time. And then doesn't text anyone. And then time will go by. And you know who she does text? Kellen, saying, good luck tonight. Trisha, that's not who you need to be texting. I could name about 10 other people in the game that you should be texting that are not named Kellen. And that just wasn't happening. I'm literally so confused as to why. And then she like hears that the votes are flipping against her and she'll send in a diary room that is like cunty as hell. And I love it. She's like, surprise, surprise, the votes are flipping against me. And I'm like, yeah, Trista, they are. So go and do something about it. But then she doesn't. And that's where I'm like, Trista. Um, I there's only so much I can really like really deal and put up with. And I need Trista to pick it up before I like start giving her these like little, not like gimmies, but like little bonuses. And there's no reason for me to give her any kind of bonus. In fact, she went up on someone's HOH that she really shouldn't have gone up on. So I have to go back down to a three, and it sucks, but it's going to be a three for Trista from
But you know
me.
what? To the three people that voted to evict me, you will be dealt with. Trust and believe that. So Bryce and Zoe tried to flip the vote. Let's all act surprised. Hashtag nice try. But TBH, what Zoe did to me was definitely karma for what I did to Isaiah. So I can't be too mad. Okay, Civil War. Um, I was at the I was at the
You
five,
were you were at a five for Trista last week.
and I stand by it. I will be going down. Um, I will be going down 1 point for her lack of effort, uh, and then an additional 1 point for her wasting an hour of my time on the veto competition this week.
Oh
Uh,
my God, these people.
in the nicest way. It was very nice being on FaceTime with or on Zoom with Trista for 1 hour while she made 25 guesses. I think the last three guesses were within the last half hour. Um, so this is so wild. Okay, Zoe.
Zoe. I'm gonna talk about Zoe real fast, and then Steven, I'm gonna respond to Kayla's text to just make sure nothing gets lost.
All right.
Um, just I think she's confused, and I know how to explain it to her. But talking about Zoe, um, Zoe's right there alongside Bryce with me for me in terms of like she really kind of shit the bed this week. I think she needed to see the writing on the wall. The Callum was going home, and we needed to pivot. And instead, her actions got her clocked as being in a duo with Bryce and possibly being looped to some other people. And I think that she lost all of the social credit that she had for me, as opposed to Bryce, who I think still people are talking like, oh, but we can't take out Bryce right now. And Bryce still has a lot of these alliances with, you know, Justin and Isaiah, and he has the frogs, and he has not the house chat and all these things. Zoe, no one is saying that about Zoe. No one is saying, oh, we can't take out Zoe. I worry deeply about Zoe heading into the next week if she's not in power or one of her direct allies is not in power. And if anything, I think that Zoe is the most likely person that this collective of Jen, Kayla, Rachel, Isaiah, Trista, etc., try and take a shot at. I think that is their easiest target in terms of take out number that is clearly on the other side of the house that is powerful, but not so powerful that we'll miss the shot. Um, and I think they all pretty much universally think that. It's also the person that they all feel least close to because Zoe's not in alliances with any of them. Aside from Kraz J, which Kayla and Jen both went out of, Adrian just turned against, like that thing does not exist. Um, so for me, I will be unfortunately really crashing my score down to a 4. And unlike Bryce's score, this is not like a 5 that gets docked for a 4. Like this is like I feel her position because of her gameplay this week actually is a 4 and is below Bryce's. So for me, be a 4 for Zoe.
Mm, I think I'm only going to go down to a 5 because of her previously strong social and strategic prowess that she's shown. We've yet to see her in a tricky spot, so I would like to see her in fighting in a tricky spot before I go down to a red. Because honestly, I don't. I understand your score, but I think for me, I'm not ready to give her a red score yet. Um,
I I hear that. This isn't me trying to convince you to change your score. But when you say like giving her credit for like her previous social game, I'm like, but I think all of that social game is like gone and out. So like I don't think I can give her credit for the work that she did on the Vince week of getting in close with Jen and Kayla, which is why she got the huge boost then. When right now Jen and Kayla want nothing to do with her, don't trust her. I'm like, I'm not gonna give her any credit for that because it's gone now. You know what I mean?
I do. I more so mean that I'm willing to give her credit for what she's done in the past because I think she will be able to use those skills in the future. Like she's proven to me that she can sway. So therefore, I feel like she isn't dead in the water. Um, but I do understand the 4 because I think she's in a tricky spot. Um, I just would like to see how like the week shapes out following this big house flip. But I think I'm at a 5 this week because I do feel like pretty similarly about Ryan. Maybe a little lower, but I don't think I'm a 4 or lower. So I think that's where I'm going to be right now.
Yeah, for me, and like this is where like I would definitely positionally put Bryce up at a 5 alongside Ryan, and I do definitely feel significantly worse about Zoe's position, which is why I'm confidently at the 4 for her. But
Mm.
that's just a difference of opinion, and we'll see how it all shakes out.
Is cool.
Alrighty, we leave this week. Honestly, like we look at the scores. This is not how exactly I would say like is the power structure of the house. This is largely due to how people played the game this week. Because I would not say that Justin is necessarily at the top of it. Um, and I would say that Tristan and Adrian are at the bottom, so maybe that is a little accurate. Um, but yeah, honestly, anything could happen next week. We could see people take a big swing. I think we could also see people continue to put up Trista and Adrian on both sides of the house, and we can continue to be boring city. So we'll see what happens.
All right. Adios.
Adios.